Every single year, factories across Vietnam pour out roughly 10 million miniature plastic stools. For a nation of 100 million people, that means 1 out of every 10 citizens gets a new pocket-sized seat annually. Walk into any corner of Saigon or Hanoi, and you will find them lining the asphalt like a colorful grid of red and blue plastic. They are as deeply woven into the country's identity as the iconic conical hats or the steaming bowls of noodle soup. But if you pause and look at the timeline, something doesn't add up. Industrial plastic is a modern invention, and mass production molding technology didn't even land here until the mid-20th century. So how did a cheap, synthetic object, costing less than $1 to make, successfully hijack the visual identity of a civilization that spans over 4,000 years? The answer isn't about the material itself. It's about a deeply rooted social habit, an economic survival instinct, and a unique way of occupying space that belongs entirely to Vietnam. Let's look closer.
If you scroll through modern travel forums on Reddit or TikTok today, you'll constantly stumble upon a bizarre formula for finding elite food in this country. Western tourists call it the ultimate street food checklist. Low plastic stool, check. Tiny little plastic table, check. Something delicious in a bowl, check. To a foreigner standing 6 feet tall, this setup looks less like a restaurant and more like a gym challenge. But for locals, sinking down into an 8-inch posture isn't a struggle. It's default human engineering. Long before synthetic polymers arrived, the center of gravity for Vietnamese daily life was already on the ground. For centuries, the ultimate piece of household furniture wasn't a chair, but the chiếu, a traditional mat woven by hand from natural river reeds. Families laid these mats flat on the wooden or dirt floors to host ancestral ceremonies, sleep, and share communal meals from plates placed right in the center. This meant that for generations, eating close to the earth, face to face, with your knees bent, was the natural baseline of comfort. The architectural mindset of the country was established at ground level. The mid-20th century forced Vietnam through brutal chapters of famine, war, and strict economic central planning known as the subsidy era. Between the 1970s and 1980s, private street vending was officially heavily regulated or restricted. Shortages were everywhere, and families returned to the pavement out of sheer survival. Because your makeshift business could be shut down or cleared by local authorities at any moment, nobody invested in permanent furniture. The psychology of the street became clear. Your entire restaurant needed to be lightweight, highly mobile, and cheap enough that if it got confiscated, it wouldn't bankrupt you. This exact economic trauma set the stage for 1986, the historic economic pivot known as Đổi Mới. As private enterprise was legalized, a wave of domestic manufacturing exploded. Industrial factories like Duy Tan Plastic stepped in, mass-producing injection-molded plastic stools. It was the ultimate weapon for the modern street vendor. Waterproof, virtually indestructible, costing pennies, and most importantly, 20 of them could be stacked into a single tower and cleared from a sidewalk in less than 10 seconds. The plastic stool didn't destroy the street economy. It weaponized its mobility. Today, the plastic stool is a cultural equalizer. There are no VIP sections on a Vietnamese sidewalk. Whether you are a college student with $2 in your pocket, a wealthy corporate executive in a luxury suit, or a wandering tourist, everyone sits at exactly the same height, 8 inches off the ground. It forces people to look each other in the eye, stripping away social hierarchy over a shared pot of iced green tea. However, this efficiency comes with a dark ecological cost.
Vietnam generates nearly 2 million tons of plastic waste annually, leaking heavily into global oceans. And as environmental awareness builds, a shift is happening. In modern urban cafes, synthetic stools are slowly being replaced by low-iron frames, treated bamboo, and sustainable composites. But notice the geometry. Even as the materials shift from plastic back to wood or metal, the height remains untouched. The ancient moi bet posture isn't going anywhere. Because in the end,